The next section of the DVD will review Jersey Central diesels assigned to over-the-road operations, including both freight and dual-purpose locomotives. We will begin with diesels purchased for over-the-road freight assignments. The first diesels were acquired in 1947 and 1948, 15 electromotive F3s in 1947, followed by 15 Baldwin DR44 1500 hood units known by rail fans as babyface Baldwins. The first road switchers joined the roster between 1952 and 1953. 1952, Jersey Central purchased 2 electromotive GP7s. 14 Elco RSD4s were purchased between 1952 and 1953, and a single upgraded RSD5 from Elco in 1953. 12 years later, in 1965, the Jersey Central purchased 12 electromotive SD35s. 2 years later, in 1967, the Jersey Central acquired 9 electromotive SD40s and 2 Fairbanks Morris H16-44s second-hand from the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad. In 1968, the Jersey Central purchased 8 electromotive F7s. These also came from the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad. The final freight-only diesels purchased were in 1973 when 10 Elco RS3s were acquired from the Precision Corporation. The Jersey Central owned 15 electromotive F3 cab units. 10 were A units and 5 were B units. The A units were numbered 50 to 59, and the B units carried the numbers 1A to 5E. Number 54 is part of an F3 AB set seen at Commuter in a photograph taken in the mid-1960s. In early 1991, the Anthracite Railroad's Historical Society painted a former Bangor and Aroostook F3A and a Boston and Maine F7B in the original Central New Jersey paint scheme, and sublettered them for the Central Railroad of Pennsylvania. They joined RS3 number 1554, which was painted in the original Central New Jersey road switcher scheme. Looking at this photograph, it could almost be the early 1950s again. The 2 repainted F units were used on an excursion train operated on the C&S Railroad Corporation tracks between Jim Thorpe and Hawks, Pennsylvania. We catch the train on May 4, 1991 at Hawks, and then crossing the bridge near hometown. The Jersey Central owned 15 of the Baldwin DR44 1500 cab units. They were numbered 11K, 12L, 13M, 14R, 15S, and 70 to 79. In this photograph taken in June of 1964, we see number 73 and a sister unit idling at the Commuter engine facility. In this early black and white photograph taken in the 1950s, we see number 77 and a sister unit racing across the New Jersey countryside with a freight in tow. An eastbound freight, led by a pair of babyface Baldwins, is ready to depart the Bethlehem Yard in this August of 1965 film clip. The Jersey Central had a total of 13 electromotive GP7s on the roster. They were numbered 1520 to 1532. 2 of the GP7s, numbers 1531 and 1532, lacked steam generators and were used exclusively in freight operations. In this October of 1974 photograph taken at Raritan, New Jersey, we see GP7 number 1531. It's wearing the green stealth paint scheme. 3 years later, February 1977 photograph, we again see number 1531. This time it's at Easton, Pennsylvania. GP7 number 1532, still in the as-delivered paint scheme, is paired with an Elco RS3 at Raritan in this photograph taken in August of 1973.
The Jersey Central owned 14 Elco RSD4 road switchers. They were numbered 1601 to 1614.
The following film clip and photograph of RSD4 number 1614, coupled with an RS3, were taken at the Bethlehem Hump in September of 1971. In a few months, the Lehigh Valley will take over this operation. RSD4 number 1608 idles at the Commuter engine facility in this early 1970s photograph. In this April of 1972 photograph, we see Elco RSD4 number 1614 leading a short freight through Bound Brook, New Jersey.
The Jersey Central had 12 Electromotive SD35s. They were numbered 2501 to 2512.
SD35 number 2502 and a Red Baron Elco RS3 are in charge of a westbound freight running through Bound Brook, New Jersey in November of 1973. SD35 number 2509 and an SD40 roll a westbound freight through Bound Brook in August of 1972. In another photograph taken at Bound Brook, this time in May of 1972, we see an SD35 and an SD40 lash-up. They're at the head end of a mixed freight heading towards Elizabeth, New Jersey. Almost new SD35 number 2501 passes through Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania in this August of 1965 photograph. In this August of 1965 photograph, we see SD35 number 2502 and an RS3 sitting at the Scranton, Pennsylvania engine house. This is the north end of the Jersey Central trackage.
The Jersey Central had 9 Electromotive SD40s. They were acquired from the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad in 1967. They were numbered 3061 to 3069.
In this April of 1973 photograph, we see SD40 number 3067 at the Elizabethport shops. Number 3067 was the only SD40 to receive the Red Baron paint scheme. After the Central of New Jersey ceased operations in Pennsylvania,
they started pooling trains with the Erie-Lackawanna between Elizabeth and Scranton. In this March of 1976 photograph, we see SD40 number 3065 at the Scranton Engine Facility. Number 3069 leads an eastbound freight through Bound Brook in April of 1972. Note the trailing F unit in the consist. Here we see Red Baron number 3067 leading a Central New Jersey Erie-Lackawanna pool train out of Elizabeth in March of 1973. In this March of 1974 photograph, we see a Central New Jersey Erie-Lackawanna pool train leaving Elizabeth. Jersey Central number 3069 is leading 3 Erie-Lackawanna units.
The Jersey Central had 6 Fairbanks Morris H16-44 road switchers on its roster. 2 of them, number 18 and 19, were not equipped with steam generators and were used for freight only.
A former Baltimore and Ohio unit, now Central New Jersey number 19, idles at Commuter during 1968. There were 18 Locomotive F7A units on the Jersey Central roster. 8 were leased from the B&O Railroad, numbered 10 to 17, and 10 came from the Norfolk and Western. One of the 10, number 3715, was repainted and renumbered Central New Jersey number 27. Norfolk and Western informed the Central New Jersey that they didn't want the units repainted nor renumbered. In this April of 1969 photograph, we see number 3715 after it had been returned to the Norfolk and Western. The repainting by the Central New Jersey is evident by the Jersey Central style numbers. In this October of 1972 photograph, we see F7A number 14 at Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
There were 10 Elko RS3 road switchers on the Jersey Central roster that were not equipped with steam generators and were used for freight purposes only. They were numbered 1560 to 1561, 1533 to 1535, and 1562 and 1566.
Number 1560, still wearing the precision colors, smokes it up at Elizabethport in this March of 1974 photograph. The unit was originally Central of Georgia, number 110. Ex-Reading RS3, now Central New Jersey, number 1562, spends the weekends at Raritan in June of 1974. 2 months later, in August of 1974, we got a close-up of this early model Elko road switcher. The Jersey Central had 7 classifications of locomotives on their roster identified as dual purpose.
The first dual purpose units were 14 Fairbanks Morris H15-44s delivered in 1948 and 1949. These were followed a year later by the upgraded Fairbanks Morris H16-44s. Also in 1950 and 1951, the Jersey Central received 6 Elko RS1 road switchers. 26 upgraded Elko RS3 units were delivered between 1950 and 1953. Also between 1952 and 1953, the Jersey Central purchased 11 Electromotive GP7s and 4 Baldwin RS12 road switchers, all equipped with steam generators. The final locomotives purchased for dual-purpose operation were 13 Fairbanks Morris H24-66 road switchers, known by rail fans as trainmasters. There were 14 dual-purpose Fairbanks Morris H15-44 road switchers, numbered 1500 to 1513. In this August of 1965 photograph, we see number 1504 switching the Elizabeth yard. 1506 idles at Commuter in this late 1950s photograph. The Jersey Central had 6 dual-purpose Elco RS1s on the roster, numbered 1205 to 1209. When delivered, the boiler-equipped RS1s were used in suburban service. Later, they were used for switching. Number 1205 is at the Elizabethport shops in July of '71. 2 years later, in June of 1973, we catch number 1205 again. Its days are numbered. 26 of Jersey Central's Elco RS3 units were equipped with steam generators and available for dual purpose. They were numbered 1540 to 1555 and 1700 to 1709. RS3 number 1551, wearing the Stealth Blue paint scheme, sits at the Elizabethport shops in July of 1971. Freshly painted in the Red Baron paint scheme, RS3 number 1540 sits at Raritan in August of 1972. Recently washed number 1546 sits at Elizabethport in March of 1974. Note that it still carries the battery box. Number 1701 sits at Raritan in this November of 1973 photograph. Its original paint scheme is beginning to show through. A pair of RS3s led by number 1546 had a coal train in tow as they passed under the catenary in South Amboy in this August of 1965 photograph. Both units still carried their steam generators. The RS3s were last used in suburban service in 1967. 11 of Jersey Central's Electromotive GP7s were considered dual purpose. They were numbered 1520 to 1530. Red Baron number 1522 leads an early morning suburban train through Somerville in September of 1972. GP7 number 1523 is seen here in freight service in Lakehurst, New Jersey in May of 1976. The Jersey Central would often couple a GP7 on each end of a suburban train so as to allow for push-pull service. We see several examples of this in the movie clips. Red Baron, GP7 number 1522, lays over at Raritan in September of 1972. Number 1528, in a more simplified Red Baron scheme, sits on the Elizabethport transfer table in this July of 1977 photograph. GP7 1530 and a GP9 rolled through Somerville with a suburban train in September of 1972. The Jersey Central had 4 of Baldwin's RS-12 road switchers on the roster. They were numbered 1206 to 1209. All 4 carried steam generators and were considered dual-purpose locomotives. Like the Elco RS-1s, the Baldwin RS-12s worked their early years in suburban service. Number 1207 is seen at Commuter in the mid-1960s. In this photograph, we again see number 1207. This time it's working the Jersey City coach yard. In this movie clip, we see stealth-painted number 1209 working the Elizabeth Yard in 1972. In this photograph, taken in Elizabeth in January 1973, we again see RS-12 number 1209.
The Jersey Central had 13 Fairbanks Morris H24-66 road switchers on the roster. They were numbered 2401 to 2413. They carried steam generators for dual-purpose operations.
Number 2408 is caught in Philadelphia on the Reading Railroad in July of 1960. Number 2413 heads the New York and Long Branch suburban train into South Amboy in August of 1965. At the time the Central of New Jersey became part of Conrail, passenger service had been eliminated except for the operation of state-owned suburban passenger trains. Long gone was the Jersey Central's most famous train, the Blue Comet, which made its last run in September of 1941. Through the early 1950s, the Jersey Central still had some long-distance passenger service. The Queen of the Valley ran from Jersey City to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, via the Reading Railroad, and from Philadelphia via the Reading to Scranton, Pennsylvania, with through cars to places such as Syracuse, New York. Service north of Allentown was dropped by the mid-1950s, and in the early 1960s, service west of Allentown was also dropped. This section will deal primarily with the Jersey Central's operation of the state-owned commuter service. Historically, Jersey Central's commuter operations were concentrated between Raritan on the west and Jersey City on the east, where commuters transferred to either bus lines or the Central of New Jersey ferry boat for transfer into New York City. The Jersey Central operated three major commuter corridors. The first, as shown here in the dotted red line, was the service between Raritan and Jersey City. A second corridor, known as the New York and Long Branch, was a cooperative service provided by the Jersey Central and the Pennsylvania Railroad, providing commuter operations between South Amboy and Jersey City with an interchange at Elizabethport. The third corridor, known as the Shuttle, provided connecting service between Newark and Elizabethport. On April 30, 1967, based on a program called the Eldine Plan, Jersey Central commuter trains operating out of Raritan were routed via the Lehigh Valley from Eldine to Pennsylvania Junction, where connection was made with the Penn Central for routing to Newark's Penn Station. At Newark, passengers transferred to either the Penn Central or Port Authority trains for movement into New York. Passenger movements on the New York and Long Branch were also affected. Jersey Central passenger trains were diverted to the Penn Central tracks between Perth Amboy and Newark. Utilizing the old Jersey Central main line, service was maintained between Cranford and Bayonne. It was known as the Bayonne Shuttle. As a result of the Eldine Plan, Jersey Central main lines between South Amboy and Newark and between Bayonne and Jersey City, as shown on this drawing in dotted green lines, were either abandoned or utilized for freight purposes only. The Jersey Central, because of the early elimination of intercity passenger service, is one of only a few Class I railroads that did not purchase classic passenger locomotives like EMDs, E-Series, or Elco's DLs or PAs. Jersey Central 6 Baldwin DRX 6 4 2000s were the only units on the roster that might be considered typical passenger power. However, they were anything but typical. The double-ended cab units were unique to the Jersey Central. Unfortunately, these unique Baldwin locomotives were off the roster in the late 1950s, before the authors of this DVD traveled out east. The other two groups of locomotives purchased exclusively for passenger operations were from Electromotive: 6 GP9s acquired from the B&O and 13 GP40Ps purchased new. The Jersey Central also had 11 Bud RDC cars on the roster for passenger service. 7 were purchased new, 4 in 1954 and 3 in 1957. The remaining 4 rail cars were acquired second-hand from the New York, Susquehanna, and Western in 1958. They actually had been built in 1950. The 6 Electromotive GP9s acquired from the B&O Railroad in 1968 were given the numbers 6600 to 6605. In this early 1970s photograph, we see GP9 number 6601. It's laying over in central New Jersey's major commuter storage and servicing yard located in Raritan, New Jersey. In this February of 1972 photograph, taken in Bound Brook, New Jersey, we again see number 6601 bringing up the rear of an eastbound suburban train. In this photograph taken in December of 1972, we again see number 6601. Once again, it's tied up for the weekend at Raritan, New Jersey. In this October of 1972 photograph, also taken at Raritan, we see GP9 number 6602. GP9s, like number 6602, were especially equipped for passenger operations. They were equipped with an oversized underbelly tank partitioned for water and fuel. A steam generator was located within the short hood, as evidenced by the exhaust stack. The oversized underbelly tanks forced the location of the air reservoirs to the top of the long hood. Most likely because of the size and location of these round cylinders, rail fans sometimes referred to these Jeeps as torpedo boats. Jersey Central's 13 Electromotive GP40Ps, numbered 3671 to 3683, were designed specifically for suburban service and were unique to the Jersey Central. They were longer than the standard GP40s and featured larger fuel tanks and dynamic brakes. The lengthened box-shaped rear-end configuration, as seen in this photograph, contained a steam generator for train heat and electrical equipment for train lighting. GP40P number 3683 is at Cranford during January of 1973. Due to objections by the New Jersey Department of Transportation, the GP40P units were not repainted in the Red Baron scheme, Instead, as shown here on freshly painted number 3674, they received yellow V-stripes on the ends and silver trucks. Number 3682 has a short weekend train through Bound Brook in November of 1972. Recently washed number 3672 leads an eastbound weekend train through Bound Brook during August of 1972. Number 3681 and a sister unit have brought a railfan special into Phillipsburg, New Jersey in this March of 1975 photograph. GP40P number 3675 is assigned to the New York and Long Branch at Bayhead in April of 1976. The Jersey Central's 11 Budd-built self-propelled diesel rail cars were all the RDC-1 models. The RDC-1s were the all-coach version of the rail car with seating for 89. In this film clip taken in the early 1970s, we see two RDC-1s leaving Elizabeth as the Bayonne shuttle. In this photograph taken in November of 1974, we again see the two-car Bayonne shuttle leaving Elizabeth. The head unit is originally Central New Jersey purchased RDC-1 number 551. Second original Central New Jersey purchase, number 557, wears a version of the Red Baron paint scheme at Elizabeth in 1974. RDC-1 number 560, acquired second-hand from the Susquehanna Railroad, leaves Raritan in this August of 1974 photograph. In our research for this DVD, we discovered a very interesting tie between the Jersey Central and the old Lehigh and New England Railroad. The Lehigh and New England was a 177-mile railroad serving northern New Jersey, northeastern Pennsylvania, and southern New York. In 1960, the road petitioned for abandonment. The Jersey Central organized the Lehigh and New England Railway to buy and operate the portion of the line from Bethlehem through Bath to Martins Creek, a distance of about 40 miles. Central New Jersey operation continued until January 1975. At that time, the Lehigh Valley took over and operated the line until it was absorbed into Conrail. In these next series of photographs and a film clip, we will see Jersey Central diesels in operation on the Lehigh and New England Railway. The most common power assigned to this operation were Alco RS3s. Units assigned to this operation would lay over in Bethlehem, just east of the main downtown bridge, where the Lehigh and New England Railway joined the old Central New Jersey main line. Here we see 5 RS3s at this location in May of 1973. Red Baron number 1700 lays over during August of 1973. In this film clip taken in 1973, we see 3 Alco RS3s leaving Bethlehem with a mixed freight. In this February of 1973 photograph, we get up close to RS3 number 1707. 5 RS3s are seen from the bridge in this October 1972 photograph. S2 number 1067 was assigned to the L&NE operation during September of 1972 when it was photographed at Bethlehem. In 1974, the Central New Jersey purchased 4 used RS3s from the Reading Railroad. 3 of these were renumbered 1533 to 1535 and sublettered L&NE. Here we see 2 of these at Elizabethport in March of 1974, numbered 1533 and number 1534. In this March of 1973 photograph, we see RS3 number 1544 with 2 sister units departing Bethlehem. Following the Lehigh Valley takeover, units continued to lay over east of the Bethlehem Bridge. In this early 1975 photographs, we see L&N RS11 number 7642 with 2 other units waiting for their next assignment. The Central New Jersey and Lehigh Valley railroads had several major interface points with other railroads where they exchanged freight traffic or granted trackage rights. This allowed the Jersey Central and Lehigh Valley rail fans to see a variety of foreign power on the routes. In this section, we will highlight 5 of these interchange points. Starting with number 1, the Lehigh Valley, Delaware and Hudson interchange at Sayre, and ending with the Elizabeth-Perth-Amboy main line, where the Central New Jersey interchanged with the New York and Long Branch and the Raritan River. The Delaware and Hudson Railroad had a daily freight running between Binghamton, New York, and the Lehigh Valley's Sayre Yard. It was identified as the Sayre Turn. In this June of 1974 photograph, we see the Sayre Turn led by 2 RS3s, number 4085 and number 4099. The second of our major interchange points, identified on the map as number 2, is at Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, where the Reading Railroad interchanged with both the Lehigh Valley and the Central New Jersey. Since the Reading Railroad pooled power with the B&O and C&O, a good variety of motor power was usually on hand to please the local rail fans. In this first photograph taken in December of 1973, we see a B&O F7, number 4587, waiting for its next assignment at the Lehigh Valley Engine Servicing Facility. In this film clip taken in June of 1966, we see a Reading freight from Philadelphia, led by a GP7 and an RS3, crossing the Lehigh River and heading to the Jersey Central Yard. Chesapeake and Ohio, Electromotive GP39, number 3906, was caught in Bethlehem in November of 1973. Chassis system, Electromotive GP40-2, number 1977, was on hand in August of 1973. Number 1977 is actually B&O number 4163, which was renumbered for the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad sesquicentennial. In this film clip and photograph taken in Bethlehem in May of 1973, we see Reading Railroad Elko Century 430, number 5212. Only 16 Century 430s were built by Elko. Number 5212 was one of 2 Century 430s on the Reading roster. In this March of 1973 photograph, we see Reading Elko RS3 laying over in Bethlehem. In this photograph taken in May of 1973, we see Reading RDC-1 number 9151. It has just completed a run from Philadelphia to Bethlehem. Reading Railroad Electromotive SD-45 number 7604 was on hand in March of 1974. The yard also had other interesting visitors. During late 1972 and early 1973, the Lehigh Valley leased Electromotive SW9 switchers from the Pittsburgh and Shawmut and the Bangor and Aroostook railroads. In this February of 1973 photograph, we see P&S number 233 with Lehigh Valley number 250. In this May of 1973 photograph, we see Bangor and Aroostook SW9 number 30 waiting between assignments in Bethlehem. In this film clip taken in the early 1970s, we see a pair of Reading Electromotive GP7s arriving in the Bethlehem yard. The Bethlehem Steel Corporation had a large facility just east of the downtown bridge adjacent to the Lehigh Valley main line. The steel plant was switched by a company-owned railroad, the Philadelphia, Bethlehem, and New England. In these film clips, we catch some of the company's switchers in action. Reading's famous steamer, number 2102, visited Bethlehem with a fan trip in March of 1972. Our next interchange point, identified by number 3 on the drawing, is at Phillipsburg, New Jersey. The Lehigh and Hudson River exchanged cars with the Lehigh Valley and the Central New Jersey at Phillipsburg. In this film clip, taken in early 1972, we catch a Lehigh and Hudson River freight running southbound just outside the city. Bound Brook, New Jersey is our fourth area of interest. The Reading Railroad joined the Central New Jersey trackage at Bound Brook and then used the Jersey Central Main Line to their own Port Reading terminal. The Baltimore and Ohio also used this trackage to Jersey City. In this March of 1973 photograph, we see Reading Railroad Electromotive GP30, number 3610, as it departs from Port Reading with only a caboose in tow. In this movie clip taken in the early 1970s, we see a Reading freight running northbound from Philadelphia. It's just south of Bound Brook and will shortly be on the Central New Jersey trackage. In this August of 1972 photograph, we see a Reading Central New Jersey fan trip with Reading 484 number 2102 at the head end. Baltimore and Ohio Electromotive GP40 number 3708 rolls through Bound Brook in this May of 1972 photograph. Chesapeake and Ohio Electromotive SD40, number 7526, is seen in Jersey City in this March of 1973 photograph. Our final interchange review location is Elizabeth, New Jersey. Chessie System Electromotive GP38, number 3815, and 2 other units are ready to depart Elizabeth in November of 1974. Erie Lackawanna Electromotive SD45, number 801, is part of a Central New Jersey Erie Lackawanna run-through to Scranton. It sits ready to depart Elizabeth in March of 1973. This SD45 unit was one of the original SD45 demonstration units and was obtained from the Delaware and Hudson for a trade of 3 Erie Lackawanna General Electric U33C units. The trade was made in 1969. Chessie System Electromotive GP40 number 3705 lays over at Elizabethport during March of 1974. In this film clip, shot in South Amboy in late 1974, we see 2 Raritan River Railroad switchers setting out cars for interchange with the New York and Long Branch. As we put together the films and photographs for these DVDs, our minds drifted back to the late 1950s when we started taking photographs and 8mm movies. It's hard to imagine in these days of mega railroads and look-alike superpower that according to the Rand McNally Rail Atlas of the United States, there were 384 railroads operating almost 235,000 miles of track within the nation. And roaming these rails were more than 280 diesel types from the 5 major builders, Locomotive, Elko, Baldwin-Lima, Fairbanks Morris, and General Electric. We recalled how much fun it was to travel camera in hand, searching the main lines and the out-of-the-way branch lines, seeking the last of steam and the first-generation diesels. To us, it was a time we considered the golden age of rail fanning. It was a time before handheld radios, scanners, the internet, or Extra 2200 South. It was a time when each bend in the track, each small-town yard, and every 2, 3, or even 4-track mainline carried the promise and excitement of the unknown. We, of course, knew what railroad we were following, and generally, from trains and railroad magazines, what locomotives could be expected. But you never knew for sure. There was the thrill of the hunt. And of course, the 9/11 hysteria was several generations in the future. We were wondering, as the years passed and the diesels of our youth fade further from memory, will the rail fans of today look back at today's superpower with the same fond memories we have? American railroading changes so quickly. We saw the Lehigh Valley and Jersey Central disappear into Conrail, and then Conrail itself vanish. Are there, we were wondering, rail fans that remember those blue Conrail diesels the same way those of us with gray hair and Medicare cards remember war bonnets, lightning stripes, rockets, zephyrs, and daylights? On August 22, 1998, Conrail disappeared, just one more in the long line of fallen flags. We are now looking at the films and pictures we took of Conrail power. Those locomotives have disappeared just as those shown in these DVDs. Who knows? Maybe in a few years we'll make a Conrail film. We might, but it won't be as much fun.